Hi guys, this one goes out to all you new builders out there. So a lot of you have probably hopped around worlds. You've seen these fancy sort of like transparent surfaces like windows and water and all sorts of things being used. And you've probably looked to your Gizmos menus. You've been like, what the heck is that? Yeah, how do I set objects to transparent? And then you've probably done a bit of searching. Maybe you've asked around. Maybe you've had some clues. Maybe you've even had, some kindly soul give you some sort of asset pack or something where, you can go off and pull things out of there. But I'm going to show you the nuts and bolts of how to do it yourself without having to sort of use any asset packs or anything. So it revolves around the humble text gizmo. So the text gizmo that is in your Gizmos menu, which I'll just pop out to build mode now. Let me just reverse these screens. To go into my build menu under Gizmos, we have this little text thing here. Okay, I can pull this out and I have some text. Now this text object is actually based upon a new gizmo in Unity called Advanced Text Mesh. So it supports some pretty limited markup. It's an older version, okay? What it allows you to do is you can actually, in the text, you can type markup. So for example, I'll just first of all show you can type some letters. Why not? But you can see that comes out quite nice just like that, okay? If I reverse that, you see it the right way around. But now, imagine I wanted to make that text slightly transparent. So what I do is I use this kind of marker. All I can do is I can type color equals. Now this is an RGB color code, okay? And any of you who's worked with HTML before, you should be pretty well versed with this style of syntax. It's not HTML, but it looks an awful lot like it. It is just a simple markup. So to do this, all I have to do is I type in color and then hash. Okay, and then I type in maybe, I don't know, 00, 00, and 00, which is the RGB color code for black. That's 00, 00, and 00. So that is hexadecimal, okay? And if I just close that bracket there, and I don't need to put a slash color at the end here, that is not required for this to work. So to save yourself some typing, you may choose to not do that. And there you go, the text has gone black, but it's still opaque, right? It's still opaque. So what we can do is we could put another coupling of digits at the end that are hexadecimal code for the alpha channels. That's RGBA. So it's red, blue, green, and alpha. So what I'll show you is if I adjust, first of all, the first bit to FF, that's going to be full red, okay? Yeah. But if I set that back to 00, I have myself an FF for the green value. Well, it's now green. But if I combine both SS for the red and FS for the FF for the red and the FF for the green, but the blue is that, then red plus green equals yellow. So that's cool. But if I now want to put in an RGBA code, I'm going to put on an extra 2 digits. So if I say like FS on the end of that, okay, so those are fully opaque, I believe. I think, yeah. If I take this back to 00, that should be fully transparent. So the text is still there, even though I've put in a 00 at the end. But if I go for something like a little bit more midpoint, so between 0 and FF, let's say it's something like, I don't know, 8. So I can do like 88. And I've got myself a little transparency. I can actually see through that now, right? So, but likewise, if I take that down to, if I take that down to maybe 2, oh, it's very, very transparent. You can barely see that. So you basically have, what you have here in these couplings, you have a representation of 4 numbers, and they're done in hexadecimal format. I'm just going to separate them out so you can see them, but don't actually do this when you're writing it. So that's FF is 255. FF is 2.5, so that's 255 for red, 255 for green, and 0 for blue. Now, if I was to add in an FS for blue, well, all the colours being set to 255 is going to equal white. But it's still got a transparent value of 22, which means it's, well, actually, So my bad, I need to put them together again. I only sort of took them apart for visualization. So if I, oops, FF, you don't need to worry about the casing in this, okay? It's very important. So there we go. You see, I've now got my transparency back. So I can create a nice sort of transparent text there just by filling those values. As long as you visualize them as 4 groupings of 2 characters each, you're onto a winner. That's the easiest way to sort of think of it. There, what you can also do is if you wanted a straight block, so maybe you don't want letters, okay? You just want a straight block, like as if you were going to do a window. So what I'll do, actually, I'll come back. I'll just quickly mix up the shape. So I'll get a cube, okay? Now you can't apply these color codes to shapes, okay? These shapes cannot be made transparent. But what we're going to do is we're going to create us the window rim, I guess, or wall. So we take this up to here and here. We pull this down to here. Lovely. You can see I've got in here, I want to put my window. I'm just going to sort of size this up a little bit next to here a sec. So if I come down here, pull it up just a bit. And then size that up just a bit more. So I now have a window, which is great that I'm looking through. Perfect. And what I want to do is turn this into a block. Okay, so what I can do is I go in here and instead of color, I'm going to change it to mark. And what mark is a highlight, okay? It's like a highlighter, but it takes the same color code. So if I do that, you can actually see what's happened here now is the letters have like a highlight with this nice semi-transparent list behind it. I can make that more obvious by upping this value, right? So I could say maybe Samsung again. And there you go. You can see I've got that quite nice sort of mark. Next, how do I get rid of the characters and leave just the block behind it, you ask? Because that's what you really want. Yeah, okay. So what I do is I say, if I just remove all the characters and leave it at that, you can see it's nothing there. I can still sort of hover my mouse pointer over it, I think. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I can. But I can see it's sort of like nothing. There's nothing in there. But what I do is I give it an invisible character. So you give it a tab. You can see the tab has just come in as an invisible character there. And by doing that, we now have, voila, we have a semi-transparent sheet. So let's just take that down. Actually, let's try and give it a color code that's maybe a blue. And take a guess. So I'm going to think maybe 3333. Oops. If I get tight. 3333. And then maybe I'm going to give that like a CC, just a CC for the blue. And I've got myself a nice sort of like quite a light blue color there. It's not the best window color in the world, but honestly, I'll put a little screenshot just up here somewhere, I guess, just to say like you can go off to like hex color code websites and you can look up hex codes for your favorite color. So for example, you can have like, powder blues or cornflower blues or scarlet reds or whatever, right? And you just look up the color codes and they will always give you the first 3 groupings of numbers in the hex code. So you can have a bit of fun with that. But you can see here's my window. Now one thing, oops, I just ran away. One thing to be careful of, right, is that putting this text in isn't collidable, which means players can, if the window is a bit bigger, we just pull up down and pull this up. Sorry, could have made that bigger. So, I'm going to stretch that up. There we go. So if a player were to just walk through the window, it can absolutely do that. Oop, there you go. Just pass through the window, which is nice. So what you can do to actually make that not passable through is quite simply, you get a block, key copy of the block. You've got to sort of make it the right size. Well, just sort of clamp that about here. Okay. And this is fairly sort of, beginner level stuff. So if I now go into the properties of that keyword just created set, make sure it's set to collidable, okay? That's important. Collidable means players can't pass through it, providing obviously the collision layer is set to either everything or players. But if I turn the invisible off, I might also turn the reflect light and cast shadow off as well. But that's now left view of the blocks. It is not walk throughable. So if I try to walk through it, it stops me. I can't get through that. So make sure when you're putting in windows, if the intention is for players not to just simply walk through them, do make sure to pull in a collidable block there, so players can't just pass through it. Cool. So you can use the same trick with water. So for example, if I just sort of shuffle this out of the way, but I'll sort of keep it handy because I may reuse that glass segment. So what we do now is I can create sort of some grass area like so. Okay, just going to stretch these out a bit, maybe up a bit, and then just create these of all different sizes. Silas is not let me out. Kind of prepared myself to do, otherwise I'll have had a pre-baked one. It's good to see me doing it, I guess. Sit there, and I'm gonna have to nudge you out the way, I'm afraid. Sit it. Great. So now if I just get this glass here, and I tilt it on its side, oh no, sorry, that's the collidable. If I just get that glass here that I pulled out, look at the meat is just a little bit thicker, okay. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it as is, because the trick that I'm going to do, right, if I make this just a little bit skinnier, even though the thing is like blade thin, right, it's two-dimensional plane, it's still good to get the bounding box down. And I'm just going to sort of resize that a little, and then I just place this here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this this copy button. I'm going to hit it. Make sure my snapping is either turned off for this bit or just turn them to fine tune. And I pull this down and you can kind of see very faintly the other layer there. Okay, by keeping that trigger held there. And I'm just going to drop it right here. There you go. Once I've done that, I just hit this array stick on the left. And that you can see is now providing a sort of a really neat depth effect to this. So if I sort of stand in here and I'll just bring the camera a little bit closer. And you can see I've created quite a nice sort of pond effect with a sort of a little bit of a fade off there where you can see my feet disappearing. And it's not perfect, but then the text gizmo is not sort of really intended to be used in this way, to be honest. It was it's a bit of a cheeky discovery by some sort of OG creators that they could do this. So yeah, that's transparency in Horizon Worlds for newbies. So enjoy, have a bit of fun. Remember those hex color code sheets. You can look up any color that you need by just Googling for hex color codes and you'll find them all. You make your own fantastic combinations just by looking up those codes and inputting them in. So remember to recolor text, it's the color tag. To recolor a tab, an invisible character, it's the marge tab. So they both function quite similarly, but they are very different things. So use the right one in the right context. Okay. Thanks very much, guys. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.